So I'm gonna do a story time, and it's gonna be about my tumor removal in 2016 in April. This video is gonna be really like personal because I'm doing it on my iPhone and I'm not really thinking about what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna tell you guys what happened. So basically, in 2016, there was this one morning. So let's just talk about the day I found out I had a tumor. So there was this one morning where I woke up and I just felt different. It's like I just felt heavier and I felt like tired and kind of like out of breath, because when I was walking to school I was running out of breath. Like I was just walking like normal pace, and I was catching myself having to breathe faster. You know, I just wasn't able to breathe properly. And then I was walking up the stairs and I barely could walk up the stairs. Like, it was just really hard for me to breathe. I was then taking a math test and I couldn't even concentrate on my math test because I felt something on my chest, like it was just hard for me to breathe, pretty much. So then I decided to tell the nurse, like, I need to go home, like I'm not feeling well. So then I go home, and then it started, the chest discomfort started turning into a pain. So I started feeling this pain in my chest, like every time I was like breathing. So I called my friend, I'm like, yo, like when I breathe it hurts, like it's really uncomfortable. And she's like, you probably have a lung infection. So back at the time I was dating a guy, so I was gonna take the bus to go to his place. And I was in the bus crying because it was hurting so much. Like, you guys, every breath I took, it's like something was just stabbing me. It just hurt so much. And I remember me crying and I was calling my friend, explaining my pain. And then this woman comes up to me. She's like, I know what you have. Like, you have a lung infection. I had that before. Because apparently the symptoms when you have a lung infection is that you feel pain in the front and in the back. And that's how I was feeling. I was feeling pain in the front and the back. And I was like, okay, I have a lung infection. So the whole time I thought I had a lung infection. So I go to my ex's place, the guy that I was dating at the time, and I was crying. Like, at that point I was already crying. I was in pain. I was there. He kind of calmed me down, and then we were just watching a movie and I was fine. But there was one second where I tried to lie back to just be comfortable, and I could not breathe. Like, I promise you guys, like that moment, like I just felt like something went like boom, and I was like I just couldn't breathe. And then I started panicking and I just started puking, and I just got so dizzy, and I was like, called the ambulance, like I don't know what's happening. So he calls the ambulance. By the time the ambulance come, I feel better, like I'm fine. And then the ambulance is checking my blood pressure, everything, and they're like, you're totally fine, there's nothing wrong with you, you probably had a panic attack. And I'm like, I don't feel well, like there's something wrong with me today, like I don't know what it is, I am not well. So I decided to go in the ambulance anyways, and I was in the hospital for, I'm telling you, 18 hours. And nobody checked up on me since 6 hours. And I remember I was waiting in the reception. My friend, this was like midnight, and my best friend, she came with me, she was waiting with me. This was like, I got to the hospital at 10 p.m. and then through the whole night until the next day I was in the hospital awake. I didn't sleep at all. And I remember I puked again at the like waiting room for the hospital. And when I started puking, they took me in and they did a bunch of scans on me. Like, I first did an x-ray, and then they sent me to this other room where I had to lie on this like tube, like, you know, like this whole full body scan. Like, I think it's called a CT scan or something. They did all that scans, and they take like blood samples and stuff. And then after hours and hours and hours, I'm talking about, this has probably been like 15 hours, they were like, okay, we found something inside your lung. They told me they found something inside my lung, and it's probably a tumor. That's like, literally, they just said that to me, and like the most casual way, like they just said it in the most casual way possible. Like, imagine someone comes into the room and they're like, we found something in your lung, and it's probably a tumor. Oh my God, you guys, I remember that moment. Like, I remember that moment. I was looking at the nurse, and I looked at the guy I was dating, and I was like, I felt like I was having a nightmare. It's like everything just started spinning, and I was like, I remember being like, what do you mean, like cancer? Like, she's like, we don't know, like we can't tell you. And I'm like so I like, and then she's like, we don't know, like it could be, we could not be, like, and it's like obviously in your head you have cancer, you think, oh my God, I fucking have cancer. And at that time I was young and I was stupid, and I was like smoking cigarettes like occasionally, and I felt like the stupidest person in this whole world. I felt so dumb. I felt like I did it for myself. I felt like I put myself in that situation. And I remember I got up from the room and I just walked away. I went into the bathroom. And I remember that was the first time I saw myself in the mirror after I heard this news. And I just looked at myself, and I remember me telling this. Like, I was like, Caroline, no matter what you have, no matter what is going to happen, you are alive. Everything is okay. Just, it's going to be fine. And I remember I was just telling myself, everything's going to be fine. Guys, it's so powerful. I remember me looking in the mirror and being like, it does not fucking matter what is going to happen. What you have, you're here. You can see, you can breathe. And I remember me just focusing on that. And I came back and I'm like, everything's gonna be okay. And I remember I sat down, and me and my ex at the time, we made a joke. We like, haha, it's probably the Twix that they found in my lung, because I always used to eat chocolates a lot. So we were making a joke that I choked on a chocolate and it got stuck in my lung. So we were joking about it and everything. However, then the nurses come back and they're like, we don't know what it is. We can't figure out what it is.